Okay, going to give you a little rundown of our homemade smoker that we're going to fire up today. And I think we're doing pork butt and a brisket and sausages that we made in our sausage making class. And pretty much everything here I got free off of Craigslist. So we'll start off. There's a trailer that I got free, and the guy bought it and was using it to haul his jet skis around, and he bought it off a guy who had lost the title. So it's basically an untitled trailer, and the guy didn't want to go through the hassle of chasing down the title, so he gave it away free. So I went over and grabbed it, chanced the 10 miles of hauling an unlicensed trailer back to the house, and we tore all the decking and stuff off of it and created the frame. The next chunk there, these big L-beams, those came from Shirley's daughter's husband. He was working construction at the time, and they were tearing down part of a shopping mall, and this was scrap metal that he grabbed for me. The firebox, also off of Craigslist, is an old fireplace insert. We tore all the catalytic converter and all the guts out of it, so it's just essentially just a big steel box with fire brick around it, so it holds that heat, and run it up to the chimney. We welded up some pieces of steel. Those used to be a box. They were boxed up as a package to use as weights at the bottom of file cabinets to help keep them from tipping over. The main firebox, or smoker box, is an old well tank. People who live on wells have these tanks, and there used to be a big rubber bladder on the inside, and that's the part that would fill with water through the bottom there, and then the top had essentially a valve stem that you used to fill with air right there, and that's how you created your water pressure, and your pump would run until the bladder was full and pushed against that pressure, and then the pump would turn off, and then that pressure would give you water pressure in your house. That bladder broke, and they had city water available, so they went with that option. The chimney is a piece of old aluminum electrical conduit out of a factory. Again, tearing stuff out, and I said, "Hey, can I have that?" And they said, "Sure." So we brought it home, and we put it on a chop saw and cut a miter into it and mounted it up, and it just happened to perfectly fit onto the end of the fitting for the sorry, got distracted there. Dogs are out. For the well tank. Okay. Again, scrap metal around the edges. We cut this open with a cutter wheel. Scrap metal edges, pop riveted on, big old piano hinge, again scrap metal fines. The thermometer we actually bought at Walmart. The handle used to be part of the closet rods in my house. The little standoffs there are small pieces of electrical conduit. A lot of the nuts and bolts and pieces were in various pails from collections over the years. This kind of lattice grid work was a table, a shop table that I, again, got off of Craigslist. Had to drive all the way up to Woodinville to get it. Essentially disassembled it and became an erector set of sorts to hold our smoker table. The shelf there on the front is out of a file cabinet. It's actually out of that file cabinet. Still working to find a proper shelf for that, but it's been several years now, so apparently I've somewhat mentally decided that's close enough. All right, on to the inside here. It's a little bit on the rusty side from sitting around all winter. But, okay, our cooking grate. The grate itself are wire racks out of an old oven that had been tossed out that didn't work anymore. And the frame that holds it together and that it slides on are old bed frame. In fact, there's some of the pieces we didn't use in case we want to do something more elaborate and make some more pieces. And on the inside, just a couple of strips of steel to use as tuning, so you can try and, or the theory is that you can tune where your smoke's going and your heat, so you can try and get more even heat. And that's essentially the inside of the smoker. We cut a hole in this end to let the smoke in, and it all works pretty good. Another thing we got, that's an old flammable materials cabinet that we were over in Bellevue. And I don't remember if this one was on Craigslist or it was just sitting on the side of the road with a big sign that said free. But essentially everything you're looking at here we got free through donations. Probably the box that Dave puts the coals in, I think we did buy that, and the cap we put over the smokestack Dave bought at a thrift store up on Whidbey Island. But again, almost everything we've got was free or donated. We got Thursday night we set up a bucket and loaded it up with wood chips. Those are mesquite chips, and have those soaking in water so those smolder and give off smoke, give us good flavoring. And that's what those look like. Again, those soak. You got to put them in with enough notice so they get good and waterlogged. You want those smoldering. And then the charcoal itself is also mesquite. It's called cowboy charcoal. And it's just regular wood charcoaled up. The stuff you buy essentially is made the same way, but then ground up, sometimes added with clay and other binders, and pressed into briquettes. This is kind of more natural. So anyway, that's our setup for today's smoking session. Dave and Kelly will be showing up here in a little bit, and we'll get her fired up.